Everybody, how we doing? Monday, recording day for me. As always, I enjoy making these videos. I enjoy, coming on camera and sharing, what happens to be on my mind, my heart that particular day regarding, things that I feel would be helpful, things that I've learned, observed, studied, came across. Again, this is for sharing. That's what this channel is about. I'm sharing, from myself. Again, maybe not 100% original and everything, but what is original is that it's coming through my mind, through, through my explanation. And so, like I said before in previous videos, if I could be someone that helps someone just kind of understand something they may have heard differently, and the way I say it somehow just makes sense to them, then that's what I'm here for. I consider that a success. I'd also like to thank anyone who has ever watched any of my videos, even if you didn't watch the whole thing. I know sometimes 15 to 20 minutes is too much time to ask for in a busy day. I get it. A lot of us are super busy. And so anyone who has taken any amount of time out of their daily life to stop, listen, watch, I appreciate you. I thank you for that. And I encourage you to comment if there's any subjects you'd like to hear more about. If there's a particular, issue or, a particular theme, topic, I don't know, something that you might want to hear more about. Maybe you want my opinion on something, to see how it measures up against your opinion. I don't know, but I'm up for it. I like those types of things. I like to put my brain to work and thinking and kind of going over things. But those of you who have watched, who have given any type of time from your busy schedule, I do appreciate you. Those that have subscribed, much appreciation. Means a lot to me, helps me keep going. And I've received a couple of messages regarding how these videos, this channel has helped certain people. And if you're one of those ones who have sent me a message like that, I just want to tell you, you're my motivation to keep going. And I mean that, because I'm doing this not so that I can hear myself talk. Believe me, it's one of the hardest things for me to do, is to listen to myself. It's not for me to watch myself on on video. That's probably a close second, right? What it is for you. It's to help whoever can gain help from this. So when I get those messages, I just want to say I really appreciate it. And you never know. You never know what I might be going through at the time. I may have needed that pick me up. I may have needed that reminder that this is, something that's actually valuable. Although I believe strongly that I have value. I believe strongly that I have something of value to offer. I mean, I'm a man. I'm a person. I'm a human being. And I experience those same roller coasters of emotion. I experience those same, seasons. Sometimes you're in a season of doubt. Sometimes you're in a season of, being less confident in your abilities. Sometimes we just wonder, we second guess ourselves. The human experience is like no other. Unless there is some other type of, otherworldly experience, alien life or whatnot, we won't get into that. But that kind of stuff's interesting to me too. But it's crazy how you look back and it's like, wow, like, if I go back 20 years ago, the world looked completely different to me than it looks now. And so much has changed and whatnot. But anyway, not to go too far off that way. Again, thanking those who have sent messages of encouragement, or just, letting me know what these videos have done for you, or someone that you care about. I appreciate that, and I hope to continue to, put out content that's received well and that's taken, um, as something to be encouraging, or even just to get the ball rolling in your thoughts, or maybe to encourage you to do this yourself. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Is the topic of this video is, why are we afraid to try? Why are we afraid to try? Well, I'll ask this, and if you want to answer in the comments, you can. If you don't, that's fine. I'm sure you're gonna come up with an answer in your head either way. But let me ask you this: have you ever tried really hard at something? I mean, you took a look at what it was going to take, to achieve this particular thing. You went through it in your mind, you reviewed it, you started taking the steps towards that. You gave it your effort, you gave it your all, you gave it all you had. You gave it your best. Have you ever tried so hard at something? Have you ever tried so hard to accomplish something? And I mean with everything you got, only to see that you didn't accomplish what you were looking for. It was a failure. It was coming up short. It wasn't you didn't get what you were trying so hard to get. I used to think that was the worst feeling in the world. I used to think that there was nothing scarier. And, fear, that's a real emotion. Those things are our emotions, we have them for a reason, right? They're to help us. They belong with us, okay? So there's nothing wrong with being afraid. But I can definitely, and I can definitely understand why some of us are afraid to try. Now, I had a conversation with my boy last week, my son, and he does martial arts. He got in the car and we were talking about something. I forgot what exactly we were talking about, some kind of performance or something. And he mentioned to me, I'm really nervous. And so, I said, why? He's like, I just, I get nervous. I get like stage fright. And I said, really? I go, why do you think that is? And he says, I don't know. I don't know, Dad. I just get nervous. And so two things I told him. The first thing I told him was, son, everybody gets nervous. Everyone gets scared. Everyone can be afraid. There's something that everyone fears. So that's completely normal. And then I asked him, what do you think is the worst thing that could happen? Like, what would be the worst case scenario in that situation? He said, and he didn't skip a beat. He said, messing up and having everybody staring at me. And I thought, okay, well, that's definitely, a scary thought. And I thought back to my childhood. I had a great childhood, had a great upbringing. But, if you're out and about, public places, you're not always going to be with people you're not always going to be with people who know how to speak to you, or there's just some people out there in the world that are just we're so different, and sometimes we can offend or we can embarrass another person and not even realize it. And so I remember when I was younger, there's a couple of instances. Let's say I'm 41 years old, and there are still some instances that I can recall from when I was young where I felt humiliated. Like, I felt super embarrassed. I felt put on the spot. And I remembered the feeling. And it sucks. it's I can understand why someone would fear that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know exactly how much that experience, and there's one particular experience I'm thinking of in my mind. Again, the other thing, like I said earlier, about how we can embarrass people, we can humiliate people sometimes without even realizing what we're doing, is sometimes other people who are observing it, they don't even pick up on it. And they just kind of like, oh, I didn't even know it was that big of a deal to you, right? And we really can't help that, and I try to be, you know, I try to show empathy, and I try to be reasonable with people. But I mean, we all have our blind spots. Some of us were raised a certain way, we were spoke to a certain way, and just we're not going to catch the same signal as someone else, right? Communication, it's just different. Like, that person, you might not realize what they've experienced. So I get it, you know. And so I could remember that. And so I told him, I said, listen, I go, son, that's that's definitely something that, can be intimidating. That's definitely something that I could understand why you would be afraid. And I said, listen, being afraid is normal. Like I said, everybody's afraid. I said, but you know what? What you have to do with that fear is you have to give it a place. You have to put it in its place. Fear is normal. Doesn't mean that it has to overwhelm your life in every decision that you make. That's not healthy. And so I was explaining to him, like, listen, even if that did happen, even if the worst scenario took place, son, I go, you know what? At the end of the day, there's only one thing you can do. You just try again. Try again. And then I started explaining to him, I said, all these gamers and YouTubers that you admire and you follow, they've got millions of viewers, millions of subscribers. Because he's told me that before. Like, hey, I want to be a YouTuber, Dad. I want to have my channel, this and that. And I always tell him, heck yeah, go for it. Like, whatever you choose to do, son, you're gonna have to work hard, but go for it. I encourage my boy to follow his dreams. I want to see him successful. But I told him, all those people that you admire and you love, you look up to, all those successful people, I said, I promise you, if you were to have a conversation with them and ask them about their journey from when they began to where they are at now, I was like, son, they're going to have so many stories of them blowing it, of failed attempts, of not succeeding how they wanted to succeed. I said, because my boy, failure comes with the territory. Messing up is a part of the learning experience. And I said, the difference between people who are successful and people who aren't is that the successful people, when they messed up, when they blew it, when they failed, they did not keep that from stopping them. They kept going. But more than that, they kept trying. And I said, my boy, as long as you go out there and whatever you're doing and whatever you choose to do, and you try your hardest, you give it all you got every time, and you refuse to quit on yourself, I said, then you're a success. And I told him, I'm proud of you. Just give it all you got, son. If it doesn't go the way you wanted it to go the first time around, you got to try again. But hey, if you're a parent, as good as that sounds, right? I thought I was pretty positive, pretty impactful to my son right then and there. I felt like those were good things that I said to him. But if you're a parent, you know, like I know, because even if you're not a parent, you've been a child. Kids don't do what their parents say. Kids do what their parents do. So I thought to myself, what can I do to show my boy you don't have to be afraid to try? So this next part here, what I'm going to share with you right now, I dedicate this to my son, both of my sons. I've been on a journey the last 4 weeks consistently, where I've changed my eating habits and I've been going to the gym 5 times a week. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I never wanted to share that publicly on YouTube. The first reason is, believe it or not, you might not think this about me because I'm here on a public platform talking, but I'm actually a very private person. I don't like to talk about myself. And I like to keep a lot of things, close to the chest. I like to keep it guarded. But especially things like this. Why? Because what if I don't continue? What if I don't keep going to the gym? What if I quit on my new eating habits? What if I just give up? What if I throw in the towel? It's embarrassing to put yourself out there. And it can, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it's embarrassing. It can be embarrassing for some of us to put ourselves out there. It can be extremely intimidating for us to declare like, hey, I'm reinventing myself. I'm gonna be a whole new person by this time next year. The reason being is because what if we don't? What if I don't? What if I give up? What if I quit? But for my boy, I'm gonna say it. For my sons, I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put myself out there. Because they're not gonna do what I say. They're gonna do what I do. And what I want them to do is to never be afraid to try their hardest. Because as long as they're never afraid to try their hardest, as long as they're not afraid to keep going even when they've failed 100 times at the same thing, like I have in my weight loss journeys, in my health journeys, this is not the first time I've made these attempts. As long as they don't quit on themselves, they will be successful. They will accomplish what they set their minds to accomplish. And I have decided that I'm going to show them how to do that by not being afraid to try my hardest. So I'm in the gym, I'm eating different, I'm reading more books, I'm hiring someone to help me put together a business plan so that I can start my own coaching business. And that's just what I got going on right now. And come what may, I'm going to make a promise to myself that I won't quit, that I won't stop trying. And now I've put it out there for everybody to see. But again, I dedicate this to my sons. It means more for me to see them be successful than anything else. Hope you have a great week. And if you can, tune in Thursday.